Those tickets we are going to use right now.
For this, like
Yeah.
final.
Yeah.
When did they tell you that this is going to happen?
Yeah. Last week, not even last week, 2 weeks back, they have informed us, and they are like day before yesterday or something like that. They are offering 2 years back how much salary was there for him. That same salary they are offering right now. He said it's difficult for us to survive with 2 kids, and again, all the schools we have to pay so much there. So they said like, fine, you can look for another job.
Oh, Krishna, it's ruthless.
Yes.
I mean, if I were him, then I'll take the job because I don't want to rush, but then I'll switch in a year or something.
Okay.
Because I don't want to stress out on multiple fronts, right? Like,
Yeah,
finding
they
a new
didn't they
job.
didn't give any chance to that, and he has just mailed them that these are the problems, so I'm expecting this much salary, that like that he has written, and they said like, no, we are not, you have to look for a job, and he has not requested back, because they are doing intentionally, so
Okay.
yeah, he
Yeah,
will
I
get it, no problem, but
I
that
can talk
phase
if
is,
required.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I can also find some help. I don't know his field, but in India, I mean, I don't know a lot of people. So if you need
yeah,
any kind of help, yeah, feel free to reach out separately.
yeah, sure, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we'll start with our Bhagavad Gita. Let me close my door before Gaurangi disturb us. All right. So we'll pray and then start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
ॐ
Namo
नमो
Bhagavate
भगवते
Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो
Bhagavate
भगवते
Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय
So we'll read from Bhagavad Gita 2.57. And as we do, we'll read one by one. And all of you have to read one slok. Then we'll repeat it. So I'll start with 57, second chapter, 57th slok. या सर्वत्र नभिस्तेह
या
तत्
सर्वत्र अभिस्नेहम्
तत्तत्प्राप्य शुभाशुभम्
तत्र तत्र
प्राप्य
तास्य शुभाशुभम्
नाभिनान्दन्ति नादेवस्ति
नाभिनान्दन्ति नादेष्टि
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
So we'll read meaning of it. In the material, so translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So, we are reading from this Bhagavad Gita, and this chapter is coming up. Give me a moment.
Let's go.
Okay. So we are reading this sloka. That purport we'll read. There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good or evil, is to be understood, to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in the material world, there is always the possibility of good and evil. But because this world is full of duality, but one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good or evil, because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in perfect transcendental position called technically Samadhi. Okay. So we'll read few more slokas and then we will discuss this. Okay. So anybody wants to read, please read.
यदा संहारणे चायं कूर्मो ज्ञानीव सर्वसा इन्द्रियान्द्रियार्देभ्यस्य prajna pratishthitah. One who is able to withdraw his sense from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, it is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. The test of a yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he is able to control the senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of the senses and are thus directed by the direction of the senses. That is the answer to the question as to how the yogi is situated. The senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents like a snake charmer. He never allows them to act independently. There are many injunctions in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do nots and some of them are do's. Unless one is able to follow the do's and do nots, restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. The best example that herein is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purpose. Similarly, the sense of Krishna conscious persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. Arjuna is being taught here to use his sense for the service of the Lord instead of for his own satisfaction. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise, who keeps the senses within. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So this sloka is very practical for us. Sloka number chapter 2, sloka number 58. Yada samharate chayam kuramango anganiva sarvasha. Indriyani indriyastavhyas tasya pragya pratisthita. So in the earlier verse, which we read, text number 57, in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or and evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So this verse is also very practical, right? So in this world, sometimes people appreciate us, sometimes they criticize us, sometimes things go good in life and sometimes they don't go good in life, right? Sometimes we have a job, sometimes we lose the job, sometimes we have money, sometimes we don't have money, sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we don't feel happy, right? So these are called, Prabhupada is saying, duality of the world. So in this world, everything comes in two flavors, right? Right?
Yes, yes.
Either tasteless or taste. In taste, there are so many varieties, right? Like salty, sweet, bitter, sorry, so many. But there are two category only, tasteless or taste. Either there is a pain or pleasure. There is no midway, right? Either there is a fool or intelligent. Either there is a happiness or distress. There is no midway, right? So everything comes in two flavors, right? Either they are good people or bad people. There is nothing like midway. They are sometimes good, sometimes bad. There is nothing. This is all we created many times, our creation. But most of time in this world, there are two kind of things. Duality. There is always two categories of everything you will see, right? Colorless, colored, so many. Living, dead, right? Non-living, living. We have been taught in our science classes, generally classification of things. So you can classify everything involved in two categories. And that's why this world is called duality, right? So here Krishna is saying to Arjuna that one who doesn't praise it or despising it, right? Despising means doesn't hate. Okay. So when there is a good thing happens, we never hate it. We like it, right? When good thing happening, oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. But when bad thing happens, we feel sad and we lament, right? So Krishna is saying that we should not do either. When good thing happens, we should be neutral. Of course, we should appreciate the source of it. But when bad thing happens, we should not get into criticizing more, because just as good thing happens because someone's grace, someone's mercy, if we think so, many times when good thing happen, we think we did it. Oh, I did it. But when bad thing happens, then God did it, right? Or somebody else, my neighbor, my family member, someone else did bad to me. Have you ever seen kind of someone saying, oh, something bad happened to me and I am the responsible? Hardly, right? Like hardly you'll find someone saying that, oh, this happened bad to me, but I am responsible for it. They always have a reason to say, right? Correct, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
And when good happens, then almost 99% people will say, oh, I did it, right?
That's God grace.
Yeah. But top of the mind, the first thought is that, and then later if we are spiritual,
Yeah.
then we think about it, right? Oh no, it is because of God, because of so many names, different religion, different names of God, right? So that's the situation. So we have to get above it. That's what is called transcendental, means that you get above it. Trans. So basically you're going above it, neither appreciating good or criticizing bad, right? And the next sloka we read, Krishna is giving example of tortoise. This tortoise is very special, right? So
Yes.
tortoise, even animal body, is very smart. You see tortoise in my background. You see that?
Yes.
Up there, right? So this tortoise is, of course, Krishna's incarnation, is a Kurma avatar. Krishna came in the form of tortoise to give support to Mandara mountain during churning of the ocean, right?
Yes.
But generally speaking, the tortoise, what we see in this world, something we can learn, right? When there is a hot weather, they go deep, they go deep into water, right? Because they are cold-blooded animals, so they can't adjust their body temperature. So you can see, have you seen the torture, even holded live tortoise in your hand? If you
Yes.
have, then you can, when you touch it, it brings all his limbs inside the cell, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
But when it has to eat or walk or do anything, it brings it out, all the limbs.
Yes.
So how the tortoise is able to do? Because the tortoise has the control over his limbs, right?
Yes.
So similarly, Krishna is saying that an yogi, a person fixed in Krishna consciousness, perfect consciousness, knows when to utilize what senses, right? And it's like Prabhupada giving an example like a snake charmer who has control over the snake. Similarly, the tortoise has control over his senses. A person fixed in Krishna consciousness is able to decide when I will use my mouth, when I will speak, when I will speak my tongue, when I will speak, when I will not speak, what I will see, what I will not see, what I will eat, what I will not eat, when I will walk, when I will not walk, when I will do and what I will not do, what I will think or what I will not think, right? So these are the symptoms of the yogi, right? So for being yogi in this Kali Yuga, you don't have to go to Himalaya. You can be yogi in your house, right? You can be yogi in your whatever body you have, male, female, old, young, children. What you have to do, just master this art of to be able to control our senses as per our, desires. And that's what we are reading this Bhagavad Gita. We are reading from text number 58 of chapter 2, that how to do that, right? So any questions? If you have, please ask. Otherwise, we'll go to next sloka.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Anuja Mataji, do you want to read next one, 58? Anju Mataji, sorry. Okay. So Nagarani Mataji, I'll read and then you can read. Okay.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
So we are reading from text number 59. विषयानि विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसो वर्जं रसवस्य param drishtva nivartate. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 59.
Yes.
Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam raso asya param drishtva nivartate. So, sloka, translation. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. Purport. Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restricting from sense enjoyment by rules and regulation is something like restricting a diseased person from certain type of eatable. The patient, however, neither likes such restriction nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, etc. is recommended for less intelligent person who have no longer better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophyte in spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. One who is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Right? So this slok is very important again. So a lot of people, ask you, or you may be thinking that how to change habits, right? A lot of people, there are so many sessions people conduct. How to change habit, how to develop a habit, how to develop a good habit, right? My atomic habits, millions of people read that book, Atomic Habits, right? How do you develop all that? So here is a formula in text 59. Visaya nivaratante niraharasya dehina raso varjam raso sasyam raso ashyas param drishtva nivartate. So it is saying that if you want to develop a good habit in life, for kids also, if you want to develop a good habit in life, then, or if you want to leave a bad habit in life, suppose if sometime we develop a bad habit like drinking wine a lot, like, so much, like daily I want to drink wine. Somebody is addicted to drugs. They like to get hallucinated and, hypnotized by taking some kind of drug. Somebody has developed a habit of watching bad movies on internet, right? Not appropriate movies, right? So somebody has developed a habit of criticizing everyone, right? So many bad habits in the world. Everybody has it, like some kind of bad habit, right? So let's take the example of, drinking wine, right? Somebody has become addicted drinker, like daily drinking so much so that they are not able to do their daily routine, daily jobs, and they have lost all the money in drinking, and drinking, they further do gambling, they lose all the money. So how do you change that habit, right? So here Krishna is saying in this slok number 59 of chapter 2, that embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remain. So if you tell such people who are addicted to drinking a lot of wine daily that please don't drink, okay, you can lock them up in a room, you can take all the money from them, take all the credit cards, you chastise them that if you drink I will beat you, you say so many things to them, but they will not change their habit, right? Why? Because even forcibly you are able to, control their drinking process somehow, that you can control how they should not drink a lot of wine because they are losing money, they are losing health. But the taste to drink will remain, because the moment that person will get a wine to drink, he or she will drink again, right? Because you are externally able to control that they don't get wine to drink, but moment they get wine to drink, they will again drink it, because then the root is cause is not gone. Like externally you are able to control, but internally they have not changed. So how you change it? So Krishna is saying, but seizing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So if you do this, that you tell them that, okay, first you give them knowledge, that they get convinced that drinking a lot of wine daily is bad. So let them get convinced first. So give them knowledge. All right. But knowledge is not enough unless it is applied in life, right? So after that, you give them better taste, that please don't drink this, you can drink this, right? I don't know what is alternative for wine, right? But at least give them prasadam, give them nice drinks, other kind of drink, which is not intoxicating. So if they drink that, which has a better taste than wine, then they will lose interest in wine, because drinking habit cannot be controlled. Only the drinking object can be changed, right? We have to drink. Somebody is drinking tea, somebody is addicted to tea, somebody is addicted to wine, somebody is addicted to coffee. But if it is not good for health, for example, somebody has a diabetes, right? And doctor told that please don't take sugar. But that person who has diabetes has a habit of drinking a lot of tea in the day, 10 times tea in the day with a lot of sugar. So now if you tell that person, don't drink a tea at all, then person will not change. But if you say, okay, you drink tea but without sugar, and then slowly, okay, you drink, now you're drinking 10, you drink 2 in the day, reduce it. And slowly, replace that with some other kind of drink which is not harmful for diabetes, right? So that's how you change it. But if you fully restrict it, you cannot change it. This is the changing habit formula in any kind of habit. If you know someone criticize everyone, is not a good person, he criticizes everyone, then how that person becomes appreciative of everyone, that you ask them to start appreciating at least one person in life, at least one person you appreciate daily. Same person you will see over the month, when they start appreciating, they become less criticizing, because you cannot do everything at the same time. You start appreciating and start appreciating. So that's how it works, that develop the higher taste. And Prabhupada is giving here example, right? Patience example, So we'll go next to sloka, text number 60.
Okay,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमादीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses, but in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to hesitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yogi practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot cease such material engagements. A practice example is given by Sri Yamunacharya, a great saint and devotee, who says, Yadavadi mamacheta Krishna padara vinde nava dhamanyutyatam ranti masit tadavati batanari sangame smaryamane bhavati mukham vikara sustu nisti vanamcha. Since my mind has been engaged into the service of lotus feet of the Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, when I ever think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at that thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaja Ambarisha also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So you see here that this is sloka, that the senses are, as I said, we discussed, right? Like the mind is so strong that it can take away the people's, the best of the best people's control, right? It is so hard to control the mind. But if we then we can just change it, right? So control is not going to work. That's what Krishna is saying, that if by force you cannot control mind, even the best of man of discrimination. Who is man of discrimination? One who knows what is wrong and right, right? Their mind also can be taken away. But how so next paragraph, as you read, if somebody is hungry, how do you satisfy their hunger? You supply a lot of food, and that's how their senses can be satisfied. That's the only way. You can't satisfy a hungry person by talking about food. You have to give them food. And you say, Prabhuji, Mataji, you are very hungry. I'll give you chole, bhature, pulao, rice, rabdi, pani puri, everything. But you don't give anything. You just talk about it. And then person will get more hungry. Right? So to satisfy the hunger, you have to supply the food. Similarly, to satisfy the senses, and right kind of food, right? You can't just supply, okay, I talked about all the palatable dishes. Now you just take chapati, chapati flour and rice, please cook and eat. You have to, you have to give them, proper kind of food, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way, right?
Yes.
So, and as per their taste, because everybody may have a different taste. So you cannot supply a non-veg food to a vegetarian, right? And say, hey, eat it. They won't be satisfied. In fact, they will get more distressed, right, than hunger. So therefore, the mind food, we have to understand what is the food of the mind, right?
Yes.
Because if one can argue that what are you talking, right? I eat every day. So I'm eating all nice food every day because I'm cooking what I like to cook. But then one can ask question, so then you should be satisfied by now because last 40 years you have been eating what you like. So why are you not satisfied? You still have a hunger, right? Because your mind eat everyday food. So the food we eat in our body, does it goes to the mind? What do you think? Where it goes? It goes to our tummy and then it goes to body, but then where it goes? What do you think?
Yeah, it goes out, but that Satvika food will help us to, think in soft ways. I mean, how to say that?
Yes, so which means the food we eat daily doesn't go to our mind, otherwise our senses. Because then the tongue should have been satisfied. I've been eating from last 40 years, but its tongue is still the same. It still
Yes.
want to taste the same food, right? Same kind of hunger. Daily, every 12 hour, you feel the hunger, right?
Yes.
So where the food is going? How can somebody have desires every 12 hour to same thing, right?
Yes.
So which means that these senses, like our tongue, our eyes, our nose, our belly, or this body is like your hardware and senses is like your softwares, right? And mind is like your master software, like it's like your operating system, right?
Oh my God.
So operating system is your mind when senses are small apps in it, right? With one sense like eyes, you can take pictures like camera, with the audio app, you can hear and speak with the mic, and you can touch with your fingerprint scanner, right? But the supply of electricity is still there because this energy needed for this body to run like computer, right? So the food we are eating goes to the body, and the taste we take goes to our softwares, but they are temporary, they go away, right? And they are never satisfied. So what kind of taste we supply is matter, right? So as you said, then question comes, what is the taste of the mind, right? How to satisfy the mind? That should be the question. That then how should I satisfy? I'm able to satisfy daily my body because when I eat food, I feel satisfied and my hunger goes away. But then after 12 hours, again it comes back, right? So to satisfy that, we see that how did people we see in our Vedic literature, how did people satisfy their mind and senses? So if you see Parikshit Maharaj, for 7 days and night, he did not eat or drink anything, right? 7 days and night. How come he has a control over his hunger, thirst, anything? Because origin of these desires of hunger, thirst comes from our mind, right? And if you
Yes.
can satisfy your mind, then you can satisfy all your desires, right? Because the mind is a storehouse of all the desires, like operating system is a storehouse of all the programs. So the moment the programs get activated, and if there is an app to execute that program in that computer, it will act. But if there is no app, if the senses are not active, then the hardware, the software operating system mind will just remain as it is, right? But if the app is active, then the operating system can work. Similarly, if that's why people say control your senses. If you want to control your mind, then control your senses. That's the only way. Okay. So controlling senses means what? Controlling senses means what kind of food I'm eating, what I am watching daily, what I'm hearing daily, what I am speaking daily, what I'm thinking daily, every day. We have to watch out, right? That's what called regulation. In daily lives, we have so many regulation, right? We have to drive on certain side of the road. We have to stop certain side. We have to take certain turns. We have to eat that much. We don't have to eat that much. We have to get up on certain time. We have to reach our job certain time. We have to leave from the job certain time. We have to sleep on certain time. We are doing so many regulation in our life, and we are being controlled by it. Government control us, companies control us, our boss control us. We are fine with it. But moment you ask someone, Prabhuji, Mataji, don't eat meat. It's not good to eat someone's body for the taste of tongue. There are so many things to eat. Why you want to kill someone and eat their flesh, their body? They will say, no, 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 this is not freedom of expression. This is my desire. You're trying to control my tongue. Where is that happening? Even if it's controlled by so many things, just requesting that you engage your tongue in different way. Nobody is controlling your tongue. Nobody is saying that you stay hungry. They are just saying don't eat someone's body for the tongue, satisfaction of tongue. If you want to maintain your body, eat nice grains, so many type of food, right? Milk products, animal derived product, milk products, right? Milk derived products. There are hundreds and thousands of varieties, but no, I want to eat flesh. That's ignorance, right? Now that's a detailed topic, but just to say someone don't eat this, they get agitated and become very furious. If you tell someone drinks a lot of cigarette, wine, and all these intoxication, drugs and all, you tell them, don't do this. It's not good for your health. No, no, no. You are trying to control my desire. I love this. So you say, please don't do gambling. You will lose the money. Please don't do, don't get indulged with a woman which is not your wife. Why you want to do that? And no, no, that's my desire. I want to do it. Why? So they don't control on these. So what happens? Their mind is agitated, always agitated, because they are doing extreme in life. Then mind is not happy, right? So that's why Srila Prabhupada established these regulations in life, voluntary regulations. If somebody does that, you will see their mind would be peaceful. That's why there is a regulation. The regulation is not by religious things. Regulation is to control the mind. To control this operating system, we have to control on the apps. We have to decide what kind of app I install, right? Which is going to work with my mind, which is your operating system. But if you don't control that app, then you can have chaos in your mind, right? Which is operating system. And if you install some kind of app, you can crash your operating system. You can install some kind of app which has viruses, and it can completely destroy your operating system and make your computer useless. Similarly, if our senses are engaged in something bad behavior, bad habits via senses, by eyes, by nose, by mouth, by ears, by skin, then it can destroy first body, and then it will also destroy our consciousness, our mind, our everything, right? So we practically experience this, but still we question that, oh no, it's not possible. We can't do that, right? So then this is what happened. So what you feed the mind, now question remains. So then what are you gonna give to your mind? Okay, you change your habit, your senses start taking sattvic things, fine. But mind is still not satisfied, right? Because there are so many sattvic people and they do wrong kind of things also, right? Externally sattvic, but internally they do all kind of nonsense. So how the mind gets satisfied? How you satisfy the mind? So if you read Bhagavatam, there is the explanation in third canto that how mind is made. What is the source of the mind? What is the mind made up of? So in chapter 26 of Srimad Bhagavatam third canto, Kapila Muni explains Sankhya philosophy, and there he explains origin of the mind. And we are amazed to know the mind comes from goodness, Satoguna. Satoguna, when appeared, it created the mind. Okay? So Satoguna, mind is made up of Satoguna. And to satisfy something with, if you want to satisfy someone, then you have to satisfy with the same nature. Suppose, for example, if I don't like non-veg, you cannot satisfy me with non-veg because that's not my nature. That's not I'm made up of. I don't like it. So since mind is made up of mode of goodness, if you want to satisfy the mind, then you have to employ things which are in mode of goodness. You have to supply things to the mind which are in mode of goodness. But most of time we don't. And that's why mind is always agitated. But you have, all of you experience that when you go to temple, you go into some sattvic activities, then mind becomes peaceful and calm. Why? Because that's where the food of the mind. That's where the food of the mind. And in Kali Yuga, the best food of the mind is Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this sound vibration is subtle and the mind is subtle. You can't see the mind. You also cannot see this vibration which I just spoke, Hare Krishna mantra, this sound. So you cannot see this, but you can experience it. Similarly, the mind will only take those kind of food which are subtle in nature, like sound. Mind takes it. So if you supply this sattvic sound, forget about, even if you don't believe in mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, even if you hear classical music, your mind becomes peaceful. But if you hear violent music, your mind becomes disturbed. Why? Because classical music is in mode of goodness, which satisfies the mind. But the other kind of musics, which are non-classical and violent music, is ignorant. So they are ignorance and goodness is incompatible. So they won't never satisfy. So that's why the best way is to chant Hare Krishna mantra. And that's why we do daily chanting to feed this mind with this mode of goodness vibration and pure goodness vibration so that it gets satisfied. And when it gets satisfied, what will happen? Then this body will work properly. The first benefit, right? Beyond religious benefit, the first benefit that you will be able to tolerate the world of dualities, pain, pleasure, happiness, distress, goodness, so many bad thing, good thing, all dualities of life you can tolerate. That's the first benefit of feeding the mind. Otherwise, mind will remain disturbed. It's not going to work as we desire, right? So we'll go to next sloka. Krishna Mantaji. Okay, I'll read that. तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वसेहि यस्य इन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Text number 61. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fix his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. So we are reading text number 61. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steely intelligence. So here Krishna is saying, Tani sarvani samyamya yuktaya sit matpara. Matpara. Krishna is not saying someone else. Matpara means me. Okay. Vasehi yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratisthita. A man of steady intelligence, right? So we'll read purport. That the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the greatest sage Durvasa Muni picked up the quarrel with Maharaj Ambarish, and Durvasa Muni was unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful as a yogi, the sage, but a deity of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustice and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualification as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 18th sloka to 20. So I'll read this sloka, very beautiful slokas from Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 18 to 20. सा वै मना कृष्णा पदारविन्दयोर् वाञ्छासि वैकुण्ठगुणानवर्णने करो हरेरमन्दिरमार्जनादसु श्रुतिं च चक्राच्युत सत्यकथोदये मुकुन्दलिङ्गया दर्शने दर्शु तदभृत्या गत्रे स्पर्श अङ्गसङ्गमम् ग्रहाणां च तत्पादसरोजसुरभे श्रीमत्तुल्यया रशना तदर्पिता पादौ हरेर्क्षेत्रा पद्मस्पर्शने शिरो ऋषिकेशपदा विनोदवने पदाभिनन्दने कामं च दश्या न तु काम्या यथो आत्मा श्लोक ज्ञानरस्य रतिः. So we'll see the life of this King Ambarish. Do you people know story of King Ambarish and Durvasa Muni already? Do you know? Have you heard of King Ambarish and Durvasa Muni's story earlier? Okay, no problem. King Ambarish fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his word in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleaning the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastime of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the deities, his nostril in smelling the flower of the Lord offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tulasi in tasting the tulasi leaf offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy places where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desire in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all these qualifications made him fit to become a Matpara deity of the Lord. The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become Matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Ambarish, Srila Baladev Vishyabhushan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Matpara, remarked, Madbhakti Prabhavena Sarvendriya Vijaya Purva Swatman Drishtu Sulabdheti Bhava. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burns everything within the room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns of all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something rather than the Vishnu forms simply waste their time in a vain, searching after some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna consciousness, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of real yoga. So I was asking you, people know already the story of Maharaj Ambarish and Durvasa Muni, right? Okay, no problem. No problem, Nagarani Mataji. Don't worry, I think we are close to end of it. So this was the last sloka. Read.
Yes. Now I'm able to. I know the
Okay.
story of that.
You know, right? The Durvasa
Yes.
Muni and
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Ekadasi
So here,
Vratam.
yes. So
Yeah.
here, that's what being described. That's the best way to control the mind. You know, Durvasa Muni was a great yogi, but he doesn't have the control over his anger, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
Maharaj Ambarish was a king, supposedly engaged in all kind of household warfare, country, kingdom, right? He was not a meditative person, but because he engaged all his senses, he was able to control his all the Sarvaya Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo, right? All the mind was fixed in the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, right? His engaged his word in describing the Lord, abode of the Lord, his hand in the cleansing the temple, his ears in hearing the pastime of the Lord, his eye in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the Lord, his nostril in smelling the flower of the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulasi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy places where temple is situated, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all these qualifications made him fit to become Matpara devotee of the Lord, right?
Yes.
So this is the formula. Even if we are not able to do, we should know at least and try to do at least one of these, right? And if you see the way it is written, at the end comes desire, right? The desire. So with the desire, everything starts. When you desire, then there is a thought, and then there is an action by the mind, dictated to the senses, and the senses act as the mind dictates, right?
Yes.
So a nice, song written by our acharyas that Bhajaure man Sri Nandanandan Abhay Charana Vindare, right? So it's very, very powerful song. And if you meditate on that, Bhajaure man Sri Nandanandan Abhay Charana Vindare, right? So it's very, very nicely composed, and it explains how does your mind works. Bhajahure man, let me bring that. Sri Nandanandana. So, and let me see if I can get a lyric. ISKCON Desire Tree. We can all listen that. I love that. Audio, right? Okay. You get it. So Srila Prabhupada has sung this song.
Yeah.
We have an audio.
Oh.
Yeah, we have an audio. So we'll hear from him. It's very nice audio. Let me see how much. Kitna minute ka hai? Let's see. Just a minute. Can you hear this sound?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna say that, and that will be last hour. We'll hear that. So how did they apply the mind in the service of Krishna? So I'm gonna play that from library. Can you hear now?
Bhajahure mana Sinanda Nandana अभय चरणारविंदारे
हे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे
भजाहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे
भजाहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे. All of you can unmute and sing after Prabhupada repeat it. That's nice.
तरहाई भव सिंधुरे दुर्लभ मानव
संगे कराहुरे भव सिंधुरे.
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरहाई भव सिंधुरे.
I have just sent the lyrics for this song in the chat.
भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे भजहुरे
मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे.
हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन আছে পরতি তীরে. हे धन यौवन हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे की আছে পরতি তীরে. कमल जल दल जीवन टलमल भज हरिपद नीतिरे. कमल जल दल जीवन टलमल भज हरिपद नीतिरे. भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे.
भजहुरे मन श्रीनंदन अभय चरणारविंदारे.
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरहाई भव सिंधुरे.
संगे तारौरे भव सिंधुरे.
सीतया तप बात बरीशन ए दिन जामिनी जागिरे. सीतया तप बात बरीशन ए दिन जामिनी जागिरे. विफल से बिनो कृपन दुरजन चपल सुखल लागिरे. विफल से बिनो कृपन दुरजन
चपल सुखल लागिरे.
विफल से बिनो कृपन दुरजन चपल सुखल लागिरे. हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे किया छे परती रे हे धन यौवन
इथे किया छे परती
जीवन टलमल कमल जलदल जीवन टलमल
कमल दल जल
भज हरिपद नीति रे
भजहु हरिपद नीति
सबन कीर्तन सबन माता सबन कीर्तन स्मरण पाद सेवन वीरे पाद
सेवन दासिरे
आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दासय अभिलाष रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दासय अभिलाष रे भजहु रे मनसि नंदन अभाय चरणार बिंद रे भजहु रे मन
श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार बिंदरे
भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार बिंद रे भजहु रे
मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार बिंदरे
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे दुर्लभ मानव
जन्म सत्संगे
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे दुर्लभ मानव
जन्म सत्संगे
तरह भव सिंधु रे
तारा हुए भवा सिंधु रे
तरह भव सिंधु रे
तारा रे भवा सिंधु रे
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे दुर्लभ
सत्संगे
दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तारा है भव सिंधु रे
तारा रे भवा सिंधु रे
धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे किया छे पर प्रीति रे
धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन इथे किया छे परती रे
जीवन टलमल कमल जल दल जीवन
कमल कमल दल जल
भज हरिपद नीति रे
भज हरिपद नीति रे
भज हरिपद नीति रे
भज हरिपद नीति रे
भजहु रे मन नंदन अभय चरणार बिंद रे भजहु रे मन
श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार बिंद रे
भजहु रे मन नंदन अभय चरणार बिंद रे भजहु रे
श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणार बिंद रे Hare Krishna. So we can read the meaning of this song, and we can end the session. So we'll see the meaning. If you want to read, please read. Any one of you.
O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of the worldly existence through the association of the saintly persons. Second one, both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of the Lord Hari. It is the desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the 9 process of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting these glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend and completely offering the Lord's one's very self. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. So this was the essence of today's discussion, that what Krishna is asking our mind. He is not asking our money, beauty, body. But if mind is engaged, then automatically our everything, whole this 9 process of bhakti, starting with hearing, right? What you are doing, hearing, Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavatam, hearing chanting, hearing Kirtan, starting with hearing, and then once you hear a lot, you start chanting. And then when you chant a lot, you start remembering him. And when you remember a lot, you started praying, offering prayers, and you want to serve the lotus feet. When you serve him with the flower incenses, then you become friend. And you become a friend, you offer everything, right? Like, because you have a trust with the friend, you don't doubt, you completely offer your body also, right? So like husband and wife, they are in relation of friendship, so they offer each other in their relationship. Or friend, we have all had best friend. I don't know right now, but at least in young life, we used to have our best friend.
Yeah.
So we could blindly trust, right? We don't doubt, like. So that's what we have to establish, starting with hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, establishing a relationship, and then offering ourselves, which is everything, right? So thank you so much for hearing. And I think we are close to the time now.
Thank you so much for sharing the wonderful song, Prabhuji. It's
No, I
really
can send on
heartwarming.
WhatsApp if anybody wants to hear or keep it, It's very nice to meditate on this song. It's by Narottam Das Thakur, I think. So, Acharya. Thank you, Kaustubh Prabhu, for
Hare Krishna
joining.
Prabhu. I'm sorry I joined very late because my TCFS course was going up at 9.
I know. No problem, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And thank you, Nagrani Mataji, for
Thank
being
you.
Prabhuji,
there.
whether our exam is now in the course.
I don't know the date. I think Pawan Nimai Prabhu will announce soon. So from going onward, English classes I will take, and Hindi he will be doing. So there is no switching now. Just me English and he Hindi. So that way we can do English. I can manage that. Now I'm gonna kind of separate out a little bit so that we can focus on things.
Because your timing is now very early.
Exactly. My time is 12, start 12 in the night and finish 2 in the morning. So it's